Prime Minister urging all to take the COVID-19 vaccine as he stresses that the economy will improve this year. Back to school for public school students tomorrow, and senators passed the Court of Appeal Amendment Act. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lissy Bastian with your JCN Evening News for this Monday, February 22nd. Thanks for joining us. In his second national address for the year, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Dr. Hubert Minnis urging Bahamians not to be fearful of the first rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine. Dr. Minnis made a strong appeal for citizens to take the vaccine once it arrives in the country. Our Tyler Simonet has the story.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis urges Bahamians and residents to take the COVID-19 vaccine when the opportunity arises. In a nationally televised address yesterday, Dr. Minnis says the national COVID-19 vaccine distribution plan is in the final stages of completion in preparation for the arrival of the first batch of AstraZeneca vaccines.
Vaccines are critical to ending the pandemic. In the Bahamas, there will not be a government mandate requiring you to take a vaccine. However, we strongly urge all who are eligible to get vaccinated. I will take the vaccine. I will urge family and friends to take the vaccine. By getting vaccinated, you will help the country to return to a greater level of normalcy. By getting vaccinated, you will also help our economy to recover faster. When a large percentage of Bahamians are vaccinated, we will be able to responsibly open up even more.
The PM also announced that health officials and the National COVID-19 Vaccine Consultative Committees looking at additional platforms to distribute the vaccine in order to increase access, ensuring equity of distribution to all communities.
The AstraZeneca vaccine will be administered in 2 doses. These COVID-19 vaccines will be available free of charge. Between 8 and 10 approved vaccination sites have been identified on New Providence. This includes drive-through sites. Vaccination sites have also been identified on Grand Bahama and the Family Islands.
First priority groups eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine on New Providence and Grand Bahama are healthcare workers, people over the age of 65, uniformed branch members, frontline workers, critical workers in high-risk settings, and other essential service workers. On the Family Islands, Dr. Minnis says local medical teams will be assisted by mobile teams from New Providence.
There will be a focus on high-risk populations where COVID-19 has occurred. Mobile units will be used to safely distribute vaccines to vulnerable populations in their communities. Vaccine appointment software is very near completion and is expected to be rolled out in advance of distribution. This will allow those who choose to take the vaccine to schedule their appointments digitally on their smartphones, tablet, or computer. For those without access to the internet or a device, appointment centers will be set up to provide assistance with making appointments to receive the vaccine.
Dr. Minnis says more details related to the shipment of 100,000 doses of the vaccine is expected sometime today. Additionally, he says that the government also secured a commitment from the government of India for a small quantity of AstraZeneca vaccines from a World Health Organization /emergency use listing EUL approved manufacturer in India. He says the government continues to work on all fronts to secure additional approved vaccines for the country. For JCN News, I'm Tyler Simonet.
The economy will begin to improve this year. This also coming from the Prime Minister during his national address. He says this much as great anxiety regarding the state of the economy and fiscal affairs spreads throughout the country.
Let me assure all Bahamians that while we face significant challenges that will remain with us for some time, the government is meeting its core commitments and obligations. At the same time, we are providing millions of dollars every month to support the special unemployment assistance programs, the food program, and business loans and grants to Bahamian small businesses on a large scale, never before seen in the Bahamas.
The Prime Minister also notes that his government provided additional funding to extend the food program and the unemployment programs, which continue to benefit tens of thousands of Bahamian families.
I will be presenting the mid-year budget presentation to Parliament this Wednesday, in which I will report to the nation on our economic fiscal situation. I will update you on our progress toward implementing the recommendations of the Economic Recovery Committee in an effort to ensure we have as strong and as robust an economic recovery as possible.
He assures that the country is emerging out of the COVID-19 pandemic and into a better future. Health officials confirming a total of 18 cases over the weekend. That's 9 for Saturday, February 20th, and another 9 for Sunday, February 21st. Of these cases, 11 are here in the capital, 3 on Grand Bahama, and 4 over on Abaco. 10 of the cases are male and 8 are female. Health officials confirming a total of 18 cases for the weekend. That's 9 on Saturday, February 20th, and another 9 on Sunday, February 21st. Of these new cases, 11 are here in the capital, 3 on Grand Bahama, and 4 over on Abaco. The national count now stands at 8,471. Of those cases, 1,058 are active. There's 1 case currently in the intensive care unit here in the capital. 15 cases are hospitalized, 14 are considered moderately ill. On Saturday, 228 tests came back negative. That day, 2 were repeat tests and 3 had inconclusive results. On Sunday, 175 tests were completed, with 165 coming back negative and 1 was a repeat test. No recoveries were reported over the weekend, leaving the total number of recovered cases at 7,181. No new deaths were reported over the weekend, leaving the death toll at 179. Back to the classroom tomorrow for public school students on New Providence, Abaco, Eleuthera, and Exuma. The Ministry of Education says schools on those islands have been given permission to resume face-to-face instruction using the hybrid or blended model. Now, while many schools will reopen on Tuesday, some will begin at a later date. Now, in order to mitigate the effects of the COVID-19 virus, parents and guardians are asked to do the following: ensure that the body temperature is below 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, monitor for possible COVID-19 related symptoms such as fever, shortness of breath, loss of sense or smell or taste, sore throat, or a continual dry cough. Ensure that each child has a face mask and, if available, a personal hand sanitizer. Education officials say if symptoms present for students or staff members, or if either a student or a staff member has had close contact with a person diagnosed with COVID-19, they are required to remain at home and to seek the appropriate medical advice. Education officials also say to assist with the safe return of students to their respective schools and to ensure that each school is able to manage their administrative and instructional functions, parents and guardians are requested to adhere to the details as advised by their child's school, and the ministry looks forward to cooperation of all stakeholders in this regard. Senators met briefly this morning to debate the Court of Appeal Amendment Act 2020 to provide for the appointment of an assistant registrar in the Court of Appeal on connected purposes. Leading off the debate was Leader of Government Business in the Upper Chamber, Attorney General Senator Carl Bethel, who says the Court of Appeal over the past several decades needed assistance in the management of its caseload.
It's simply an amendment to facilitate a clerical adjustment that will enable them to increase and improve the quality of the work that they do in terms of the moving of getting files ready for appeals and being able to schedule hearings, etc. So it is a very technical thing. It's done to facilitate the Court of Appeal and to assist them to be better able to manage their caseload.
Now, while leader of opposition business in the Senate, Senator Fred Mitchell, says the opposition supports the bill, during his contribution, he noted that it's too expensive for an ordinary citizen without the support of a lawyer to approach the Court of Appeal, suggesting that provisions be made. In response, Senator Bethel says this.
We've had discussions with the Chief Justice about raising the jurisdiction, and we've sort of settled on at least raising it to $20,000. And the reason being is this. You may have a claim against someone for 10 or so thousand, or 15,000, or even up to 20,000. But then you go to a lawyer who says, well, I have to take this to the Supreme Court, so you start off paying him at least a $5,000 retainer. So you're already in the hole. Got to go further in the hole to dig out of that hole. It's a classic case of trying to dig your way out of a hole. Well, you're only going deeper and deeper. So I think that there's broad agreement on that and that we can expect some change in short order.
Senators, like their colleagues in the lower chamber, passed the Court of Appeal Amendment Bill. You're watching JCN News. When we return, Sir Orville Turnquest honored Grand Bahama Police having a busy weekend as they investigate the country's latest homicide, and the cancellation of the National Regatta is a major economic blow to the Exhumas. Stay with us.